You know that moment when you open your banking app and nothing happens? No stress, no quick mental math, no instinct to close the app immediately. You just look at the number and feel neutral, maybe even slightly calm. For most people, that feeling has nothing to do with being rich. It happens much earlier than they expect, and it usually starts right after one specific point, around $20,000. Not because that number is magical, but because after that point, everything changes even more than people realize. Let's talk about a normal situation in the US or Europe. You earn about $4,000 a month after tax. Rent or mortgage takes $1,400. Car payment or transport costs another $400. Insurance, utilities, phone, subscriptions, another $500. Food, basic life, maybe some student loan payments. By the end of the month, you're doing fine, but barely. You're not broke, but you're not relaxed either. One unexpected expense and the whole system wobbles. This is where most people think the problem is income. If I just earned a bit more, I'd be fine. But income isn't the real issue. The real issue is how fragile the system is before you build a buffer. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They design their life so that every dollar already has a job. Salary comes in, bills go out. Lifestyle fills the rest. There's no space. So when money comes in, it feels temporary. And when money goes out, it feels threatening. Psychologically, your brain stays in a low-level stress mode all the time. Not panic, just constant background pressure. That pressure is expensive. Let's look at a simple example. Say your car breaks down and the repair costs $1,800. If you have $2,000 in savings, that's almost everything you have. Your brain treats it like a crisis. If you have $20,000 saved, it's annoying, but it's not a threat. Same expense, completely different reaction. That difference isn't about math, it's about security, and security changes behavior. Before $20,000, most financial decisions are defensive. You choose safety over opportunity. You stay in jobs you don't like because risk feels dangerous. You delay career moves because timing never feels right. Your brain isn't stupid, it's protecting you. But protection has a cost. You stop playing offense. After $20,000, something subtle happens. You stop asking, what if something goes wrong, and start asking, what actually makes sense long term? This is where people misunderstand wealth building. They think it's about higher returns or smarter investments. It's not. It's about mental bandwidth. Now, let's talk numbers, calmly. If you have $20,000 invested at around 8% annually, that's roughly $1,600 a year. No effort, no extra hours, no side hustle, just money doing its job. That won't change your life by itself, but it changes how money feels. Money is no longer only something you earn, it's something that arrives. That's a big psychological shift. This is also why the second $20,000 is easier than the first. The first one feels slow and heavy. You're doing all the work. After that, progress starts to assist you. Not dramatically, not overnight, but noticeably. And your brain notices patterns faster than numbers. Once it sees progress accelerating, motivation becomes quieter and more stable. Here's another misunderstanding. People think wealthy individuals have access to secret tools. They don't. They use the same index funds, the same accounts, the same boring strategies. What they have is scale and patience. A 10% return on $2,000 is forgettable. A 10% return on $20,000 changes how you think. Not emotionally, logically. Now, returns matter. But the most important shift after $20,000 isn't financial, it's identity-based. To reach that number, you had to make consistent choices. You had to delay gratification without external pressure. You had to trust long-term thinking. That builds confidence, not excitement. And confidence changes decisions. This is why small expenses stop dominating your thoughts. You don't become careless, you become selective. You stop optimizing coffee and start optimizing housing. You stop worrying about groceries and start thinking about income trajectory. Not because you're rich, because you're stable. Your career changes too. When you're financially fragile, negotiation feels risky. You avoid conflict. You tolerate situations longer than you should. After $20,000, you don't become reckless, you become calm. You don't need to threaten to quit, you don't need to prove anything. You simply know you're not trapped. That confidence is often visible even if you never mention money, and it tends to attract better outcomes. This is where many people make a mistake. They reach $20,000 and immediately treat it like a reward. New car, expensive vacation, lifestyle upgrade that locks in higher fixed costs, and suddenly they're fragile again. That money wasn't meant to impress anyone, it was meant to protect your future decisions. Cars are perfect examples. Most people don't realize how much they spend over their lifetime just to maintain a certain image. Monthly payments feel manageable, total cost quietly compounds. Meanwhile, that same money could have been buying time, flexibility, and freedom. This isn't about deprivation, it's about awareness. Once you understand opportunity cost, purchases feel different. You don't ask, "Can I afford this?" You ask, "What am I giving up long term?" And often the answer surprises you. You realize you don't actually want more stuff, you want less pressure. $20,000 won't make you wealthy, but it will make you clear-headed. And clarity is what allows intelligent financial decisions to compound. Not fear, not hype, not motivation, just calm, consistent awareness. If this way of thinking makes sense to you, consider subscribing. That's it.